delving into, yes, we're still into Moses. We have been delving into the prosperity secrets of Moses, one of the wealthiest men in the Bible. Using Catherine Ponder's book, this is the last in the series. I feel like I've been doing it for months now, but it's so good. It's so good. So that we're using Catherine Ponder's book, Millionaire Moses, as our guide in this. And it's been a wonderful experience for me, so I thank all of you for allowing me to do this, because I'm really deepening, and I hope you are too, into your, last week was opulent, your opulent, or the week before, opulent consciousness. Our topic for today is speaking the word of completion. So we're all going to explore a couple of deep and rich ideas that will help bring along our good, the good we've been waiting for, and particularly when it seems delayed. Sometimes it feels that way. Okay, when? Catherine Ponder begins the final chapter of the book with these words. If you have worked inwardly and outwardly to realize certain blessings in your life, and they have not yet appeared, it may be because you are now ready to use the prosperity law of completion. I want you to stop and think, she says, for a moment. Is there something in your life that you really desire to be, do, or have? Have you been divinely guided to do it? You know it's right. You know it would benefit you and the world. You've done the spiritual as well as your work in the world to bring it about, but it just hasn't happened. It just hasn't come to fruition. Perhaps if you were honest about it, you would admit, and she's writing this, that you are still a little bit scared, frustrated, or resentful about it. Think for a moment. Is there such a situation in your life? Because today I want you to have that situation in the forefront of your mind as we go about this talk today. These talks are really there to help us live a better life, a life of great good, a life that we sometimes don't even believe that we deserve, but we do. So, let's see what Moses teaches us about speaking our words of completion to bring about our good. So the first words of completion are literal. First words of completion are literally words of completion. We don't know sometimes when a prayer, a thought, an action is complete. It's so important, and you're going to see why, to come to that realization. Catherine Ponder suggests that we look at the situation and say something like a mixture of, this is Ponder's and my words, to yourself these affirmations. God's work is finished in this situation, and my good manifests now. I see only completion. These are affirmations you can say to yourself. I am so happy and grateful as I relax in the knowing that my good is at hand and manifests now, quickly and at peace. Remember the law of the divine mind, the law of this everywhere, the substance of God is acting upon these words, thoughts, and actions that you impress upon it. Be aware of that. Very powerful creative beings. That's what we are. And once we speak these words of completion, we then must loose it and let it go, to use Ponder's words. Many times, it is after we have done our spiritual and outer work to the fullest of our ability, and then just relax. Just relax, let it go, and let the good come to us. We let go, and we let God. One of the greatest affirmations. That's how it works. We truly let go, and we let God. I of myself can do nothing. Remember that. There is a divine mind that is operating through life and through each and every one of our individual use of it. In fact, Ponder writes this: when you have done all that you know how to do in inner and outer ways to solve any problem or to create a new good, and still the results have not come, that is the time to release and cease further effort. These are the times to speak nothing, she says, think nothing, and do nothing. You have already spoken the word of prosperity, complete success, and completion. Now let it alone. Moses knew this. Moses knew this. He had hoped to get the Hebrews out of the barren wilderness. He had hoped to get them into the promised land. Yet he knew that he had done all that he could do. And he realized this powerfully important lesson for us all. When you have done all that you could, then you have done all that you should. When you have done all that you could, then you truly have done all that you should. And we let it go. We let it go. Release it. But we often keep at it, don't we? We often keep at it. And by keeping at it, I mean we worry about it. We fret about it. We stew about wondering when our good will come. When is it going to come? When is it going to come? Why isn't it here yet? Fearing it won't come. And the longer it takes to get here, the more uptight and fearful we seem to get. Of course, to know, you know what happens when you do that, as the readings so beautifully spoke about today. We might as well put up a wall that says, do not enter, on every side of it. Do not enter. Ponder puts it this way: we have generated a strained vibration which has built an inharmonious wall around us. This invisible shell of tension is being radiated out from us to others. It is repelling the very good that we have worked so hard to attain. Just as soon as this invisible wall can be dissolved, the things that we desire will be able to flow through and to us. They truly will. We let it go. It's done. Remember, it's done. When it's done, you've done all that you could. That's all you need to know. You do nothing else. You let it go. And as soon as that wall comes down, the good can flow right in. We can relax and let it go. So an example of this is, two examples actually now. Joyful Gathering was formed this very way. This community was formed in this very way. My prayer was, God, use me as a minister in any way that you see for the highest good of myself and others. That's all. I don't know what it was. I had no intention or idea of starting a spiritual community or center. I just did not even have that in me. But somewhere it was in me, actually, because it happened. So somewhere within me, it was there. Probably subconsciously, the power of subconscious mind. The message of beginning a spiritual center just came through. Somebody came up to me. They had a little church they lived in and said, why don't you just speak in front of everybody? So I did on Friday nights. I didn't even question it. I did. And soon it became, like Starting Point came into the picture. And Vince said, I always wanted a spiritual center here on Sundays. And I just kept saying, okay, and it's formed. That was 11 years ago. 11 years ago, next month, October 10th. We have been in here since October 11th. So, and that brings me to that part of the manifestation of letting go. This is what we, the Board of Trustees, our ministers, our practitioners, our members, did for 10 years. We held in our mind, in fact, it was on the top of the list of prayers every week that the practitioners and ministers received, that we find our perfect new space. We find our perfect new space, and it was like, okay, it's been 10 years now, and you start to wonder, is this going to happen? Is it really going to happen? I know it is, but then the human self, well, I'll speak for myself, the human self comes in and it's like, okay, so when? Because I get a little impatient sometimes. Don't laugh too hard. But then all of a sudden, it was like wham, wham, the pandemic hit, right? The pandemic hit, and if you are our control person, it kind of like took that all away from you. Because it's like, oh, oh, maybe we'll open next week, maybe we'll open next week. And it didn't, for months and months. So we were forced to let go. We were forced to let go. And then we began holding outdoor services at Starting Point. And so we did that, and still holding our vision for the perfect space, because I did not want to go back into a windowless room again. I wanted this. This is what I want, windows. We all wanted this. A place where we can come and feel safe and airy and spacious and beautiful. And we had looked at this place a number of times, and it was never available. It just never was available. And then in September, it became available to us again. The board had been meeting via Zoom all along during the pandemic, and in September of last year, all we needed was a phone call. We got that phone call, and we just came right over here and looked at it and signed the lease. Like, almost immediate. I think we did the vote by phone or something. It's like, yes, this is the place. And so we've been here. And I say, I'm telling you the story because it is a manifestation of letting go. There's nothing more that I feel that I could have done to make it happen. And the pandemic was a blessing in the fact that we got to manifest this perfect space that was never available to us. So that's the letting go part. I was forced to let go myself because we were closed down. So, we're still in the middle of this whole thing, so we continuously pray for it. But it's a perfect example of letting go. It was completed. The word had been spoken, the prayers had been said, completion was there. So think about your situation right now, the situation in the forefront of your mind that you would like to happen. And I want you to repeat this after me. God's work is finished in this situation.
God's work is finished in this situation.
My good manifests now.
My good manifests now.
I see only completion.
I see only completion.
I have done all I could.
I have done all I could.
So I have done all that I should.
So I have done all that I should.
Therefore, I am happy and grateful as I relax in this knowing.
Therefore, I am happy and grateful as I relax in this knowing.
That my good is at hand.
That my good is at hand.
And manifests now.
And manifests now.
Quickly and in peace.
Quickly and in peace.
And so it is, I say to each and every one of us. We've spoken our words of completion. So you don't have to repeat that. That's me just going off like I do. So number 2, second words of completion. Sometimes in order to bring about a new good, sometimes in order to move into our larger experience, we have to let go of the old, the familiar, even the good familiar, if we want something that is better and greater. It is our divine nature to always expand and to desire more. This is the way Spirit operates. It is always creating more and more, and there's no stagnation in the mind of God, which is spirit, which is energy, which is life. We sometimes stop our own progress because we will not release a good cycle that is completed. It might be good, but we know there's something else, and it's completed, but we're not moving because it's comfortable. I know that was my story. It used to be. It's not anymore, but it's starting to be. So I have to be very careful that I am open and receptive to new opportunities as they come into my face, and I'm like, no. That's for all of us. New good, even though everything is really good, it's progressive. It evolves and changes. We must allow it to evolve, and ourselves to evolve. We must change with it. We must be willing to release the accustomed forms of good for higher ones. We're always grateful, but there's always something better, and there's nothing wrong with that. You might have been told that that was a selfish way to think, and it is not. It is your natural, divine right and way to think. Moses had to let go of a lot of material good in the court of the Pharaoh, the wealthiest man in the Bible, right? To live his divine purpose, to release mankind from bondage. Still going on, but Moses was the example right there of that. Losing your good, feeling it readily, when you have outgrown it, really requires courage. It always does. Big change, new change, always requires courage. It's like the trapeze artist who must release the bar that he's holding onto to catch the next one. And in that moment, he's not holding on to anything. He's just flying in midair. Wow. So in order to attain your higher good, you don't have to, you can choose to let go of the old good. And I am so aware that many of us have left comfortable relationships, jobs, stepping into what feels like the unknown. So we don't know what's going to happen. So we're always, I'll speak for me, I'm always a little trepidatious about the unknown. But that's where God is. That's where the higher good is. That's beyond what we can imagine for ourselves. We must be willing to release the cycle because it is complete. It is complete. This is how we evolve so we don't remain stagnant. We are making way for the new good to enter our lives. The old good is now complete and is ready to be released. And the higher forms of divine good can flow right to us. And I found this poem that speaks of change. I'd like to read to you. Its author is unknown, but I liked it. It goes with this. I stand at the precipice between love and fear, knowing not where my journey goes from here. The opportunities are endless, possibilities abound. In a state of calm surrender, I'm stepping on holy ground. To stand in the darkness, only facing the past, turning my back on the light, this is surely the road of fear. Moving away from the darkness and choosing the path of light. The radiance of God love's fullness appears blinding to my human sight. Yet it calls my spirit forward into the great unknown. A deep breath brings me inward. Just look at how I've grown. As I return myself to center, I remember I am not alone. In faith to spirit I surrender. Through the precipice I have flown. Many of us are standing right in front of that precipice right now. So take a moment of personal reflection. As you are looking to manifest your new expanded good, is there something that you need to release? Is there something good that you are holding on to that if you continue to do so, you simply will not be able to move into that expanded state? Are you willing to let go of the trapeze and fly through that precipice. Then that brings us to our final word of completion. You may think, but I have done all that I could think of. I have spoken my words of completion. I am willing to release the good for the better. I have been expecting a new door to open, but it has not. I have waited, but my good still has not appeared. Why? In chapter 33 of Deuteronomy, Moses gives us the answer. He gave a blessing to the children of Israel. He knew that new good cannot come forth unless the old has your final blessing. He knew that he had to give that final blessing to the Israelites before they could enter the promised land. Your good cannot find its way to you if there is unfinished business. So long as you resent a troublesome person or situation, you will have to meet that problem repeatedly in your life in another guise. It's the way it works. It just works that way. When you give a blessing to that person or circumstance, then comes your release. I know that before I even began this journey of a spiritual center, that I had to, very difficult, I had to meet 3 times with my former minister, Reverend Carol Lawson. And I did that with the intention of getting her blessing. Took me 3 visits, but I did finally get her blessing, because intuitively I knew I needed to have that blessing so that that part of my life, which is very important, that part of my life was complete, and I could then move on to something new. Your good cannot find its way if there is unfinished business. So we have to bless and release. But what must happen between, if you are in resentment, I wasn't, but if you are leaving a situation, a job, a relationship, or something, and you are holding on to that resentment, how do you do the blessing then? There seems to be a gap. Something needs to happen. And I think most of us would really know what that something is, because it always has to happen. We must forgive. Forgiveness is huge. It's usually the last part of our evolutionary journey, is to truly forgive, to really forgive. The willingness to make the choice to allow what was to simply be that. It just was. It was. And to release the demand that it be anything else. You can't change that. And forgive it as it is. We have just finished the holy holiday of Yom Kippur, a day of atonement, a day where people are required to atone, to forgive. It's part of the sacred Jewish holiday. And if you really want to do an extreme blessing, I know a lot of us are familiar with this, the practice by Dr. Hugh Len Ho'oponopono, it's this. This is what you say. It's really simple. It's giving a blessing within yourself. You don't have to go to the other person. The other person might not even be alive or in the area. You can do it within your own consciousness. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. You can even shorten it as I have. I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. I've even done that to my printer. You know, when it's not really working, when I really have to print up a talk or something. I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. It's a blessing. It's a blessing we can all use. So what needs a blessing so that your expanded good can be called forth within your life. What needs a blessing? And think about that for a moment. We all have something, a person, a situation, and you can look at it and say, I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. Remember, you are doing this in your own consciousness for yourself. This is for you to clear away any stuck energy. We have to clear away that stuck energy. This is to free your thinking and your emotions, to make room for the new good to flow into your life. Forgive and, yes, bless the old. And that can be a really big one. It usually is. It usually is. So there are your words of completion. If there is something in your life that you wish to call forth and it seems to be stubborn, remember this is the formula. This is the 3 steps. Literally speak the words of completion. As God's work is finished in this situation, my good manifests now. The second, be willing to let go of the old good so you can experience the greater manifestation. And the third, forgive others and yourself for having resented or found guilty or fault with anything about anyone or anything. And use the Ho'opono if you care to, or anything else that feels like a blessing to you. As you do these things, you will walk into your promised land, the land of milk and honey. My prayer, my hope, my affirmation for you is that you take what we have done here for the last, 6 weeks now. We've been doing this, and really apply it into your life. The stuff is for using in our lives. This is really, really good stuff. And so for now, let's speak our final words of affirmation with your particular situation in mind. So I invite you, if you feel called, to close your eyes. And we're going to be complete with this short prayer. I place myself and this situation lovingly in the hands of Divine Spirit. God's work is finished, and my good manifests now. This is a time of divine completion. Miracles that follow miracles, and wonder never cease. I release that which is good, so that I might experience that which is great. I look upon every ending as a new beginning. My good changes, grows, and expands, and I embrace this change, this growth, this expansion. I now fully and freely forgive everything and everybody in my past or present, including myself, whom I have judged or resented. I give that person, situation, or thing my final, deepest blessing by saying, I love you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Thank you. This brings completion between us now and forever. The work of my hands and the plans of my life are moving toward a sure and perfect completion. I am ready for my new good now. I am so happy and grateful that my good is at hand and manifests quickly and in peace, in God's right action and timing. I place my full trust. I relax into the knowing that it is done, and so it is, and so shall it ever be. Amen.
Amen.
Mm.